Whether you're just starting out or starting over, we're gonna go over the basics of tent camping fundamentals, and we're gonna start that right now.
You may have gone through some sort of life event that has you starting over, or you're starting for the first time. For me, it was a divorce, and my love of camping did not end with that chapter in my life. So, I still love the outdoors, and I want to share that with our kids, so we took up tent camping.
There are a lot of things to consider before you buy your tent, so make sure first and foremost you do your research. There's sizes, shapes, needs, everything's gonna depend on your situation, whether it's gonna be 1, 2, 5 people going camping with you. You're gonna need to know what you want and how many people it's gonna fit.
So, buying a tent is unique to you. It depends on your needs and what you plan on doing with it. Are you going to be camping with your family? Are there going to be relatives and friends coming? Do you want a multi-room tent that has privacy? Or are you going to be backpacking and you want something light that will be easy to hike and carry on your back? An entry-level tent costs you anywhere between $50 and $200. If you're looking for something specialized, they can go into the thousands. For most people beginning, you just need an entry-level tent to start out, see if you even really like it.
Even better, if you know somebody who has a tent, borrow it. If you want to test it out, try it. If you don't like it, you give the tent back. You're no better off. It's great, and they have their tent back. Go buy one if you love it. We got a whole lot of tents that we can go through that'll be the right one for you. Again, just helping you with your research.
The most popular type of tent is the dome tent. That type of tent sleeps anywhere between 2 and 8 people. When they say on the box that it'll sleep 8 people, just consider it to be 8 toddlers, because they have you like lined up like mummies. And comfortably, I would say subtract 2 off of the number that the tent says that it sleeps, so that you will sleep more comfortably.
Right. The package on the outside where it says sleeps up to 8, they're not considering air mattresses, mats, luggage, backpacks, clothing. They have people, like she said, lined up like mummies, head to foot. You know, somebody's head's at the other people's feet in sleeping bags. It'll fit 8 people for sure, but if you want to be comfortable,
Not comfortably.
you're definitely going to want to go a little bit higher. So if you need to sleep 4 people, go with a 6-person tent or an 8-person tent if you have a lot of stuff you're bringing along. You need the room, definitely, because your tent is going to be your home.
So when I bought my first tent, I did buy an 8-person tent, and it was just me and my 2 sons and our dog. And we ended up having to leave the dog at home. He's not a very good camping dog. But it really worked well for 2 queen-size air mattresses, a path up the middle, and then room around the outside for our gear. And there was this one time that I was really, really glad we had 2 air mattresses, and it was because my son had thrown up SpaghettiOs all over his air mattress. So it was really, really handy to be able to unzip the door, wing the mattress out, and have everybody snuggle on the main queen one.
Have we mentioned there's like a whole group of engineers designing these tents? There's a million of them. Another good option if you're a hiker and you want light and small is they call them backpacking tents, obviously. You're hiking through the woods, you need a place to camp, then you whip out your tent from your backpack, undo it. Back in the day, small, light, they sleep 1, possibly 2 people tops.
If you snuggle.
If you snuggle. Again, it's not going to be the multi-family tent that you're looking for if you're going on a camping trip with your family. This is for the people that are going to be doing the outdoorsy. You're kayaking, you're hiking, you want to be out in the wilderness. You're bringing your shovel as your toilet. So they make them small and compact so you can literally fold them down into a tight, compact thing to put in your backpack, hence the name. They are great for wind, weather. Obviously, some are made to do the cold as well, but generally you're looking at a backpack tent for like the summer months. It's going to be airy and light. So those are the main perks of that.
Dome tents are popular because they are light and easy to set up versus a larger family tent. Those are much heavier. They come with anywhere between 2 to 5 rooms, so everybody can have their own bedroom if you wanted to. You can have your aunt and uncle, your cousin from New York City, anybody you want. Bring the dog. The dog has his own little compartment. Or you could use one of the compartments for storage. But just know, it takes an engineering license to set that thing up.
More than one person. So if you're a single parent and you're bringing your kids along, unless they're old enough to help you, you're in trouble with a multi-purpose, multi-family.
I would stick to a dome tent for sure.
There's a lot of variations on these tent types too. They have some that are called geodesic tents. It's an offshoot of the dome tent. They can make it larger because they use more poles that'll crisscross. And if you know what a geodesic dome is, that's kind of how it's set up. It's angular, it's a lot more sturdy because obviously you're using a lot more poles. So I mean, if you're going to be doing long-term camping, might be a little bit better of an idea. Obviously, again, larger, so if you have a bigger family or bigger group going with you, it'll definitely hold a lot more people.
Or if you want to use it on a more permanent basis, like you want to set it up and leave it set up for a length of time, say if you have property.
And then, of course, now, as I mentioned before, with the engineering team working on these tents, they've come up with these really cool self-pop-up tents. Basically just lay them out and up they go. Some are small enough, more so like for maybe like a kid. You just kind of throw them in the air and they come down as a tent. But typically the self pop-up tents, you lay them out, unfold, and then it just sets itself up. It's really neat. They're not necessarily long-term tents, as we were just mentioning. They're not going to be as sturdy because the poles aren't going to be as rigid, obviously, but
they're not as good in weather. They're for like spur of the moment camping. It's something you might put in your trunk of your car, and if you decide, hey, I feel like going to the Adirondacks, you just
load up the car and go. You have your tent, throw it up, and there you are.
Right for you.
And there's still so many. They have teepee tents, which is exactly what they sound. If you remember back in grade school, you learned Cowboys and Indians. The teepee tent is designed just like a teepee. They have A-frame tents, which would be think of like an old military style where you have the two peaks and it just sits down like an A. A-frame style tent, they call them wedge tents. I mean, you can really go and get whatever you want. You can get as fancy as you want. There's even some that we've seen that have had their own chandeliers hanging from the inside, which I guess people would say that's glamping.
That's glamping. I have personally never seen that except for in pictures.
No.
You can make them as comfortable or as rustic as you want. We had a friend that had an air mattress that was like double height. So it was like, it looked like a bed inside her tent. And she had little tables on the side. They're foldable ones, but she had tables on the side, and it just looked like a bed and a nightstand in her tent. You could be rustic about it. You could lay out mats and sleep on sleeping bags. They make fans that you can plug in so that they'll keep you cool.
So if you needed a light in the middle of the night, it was there, which came in handy on the hot nights. You had a little, light for the night, fan for the hot. Great.
Except for it sucked batteries like crazy.
Yeah. And then again, with these tents, there's so many different options you can get with these. They have electronics pockets. and whole little flaps on the side you can put extension cords through. So if you're camping somewhere that has electricity and you want to power your electronics or lights or anything inside.
Use it to blow up your air mattress.
Exactly.
And what you really, really need to have for your own comfort is to buy a tarp to lay down on the ground to set your tent up on. That keeps the moisture out, adds a little extra layer of protection between you and the ground, and it helps keep the floor of your tent ripping from rocks or whatever you may have laid your tent out on.
Right. You don't want to spend a few $100s on a tent just to rip it on a rock your first night. Go to Harbor Freight or Home Depot or Walmart and buy one of those blue tarps to put down on the ground. It's well worth the 15 or 20 bucks you're going to spend on it. Just increase the life of your tent.
And speaking of increasing the life of your tent, you might want to spray it down with some Scotchgard, some weatherproofing spray, so that you can keep stains or rain from seeping into your material. And then, so with so many options, there has to be a tent that's right for you. So if you found this video useful and informative, subscribe to our channel, give us a like, comment below.
Yes, if there is a tent that you love to use, let us know what it is. We'd love to hear about it. If you have any questions, we want to help you research. We want you to enjoy camping as much as we do. We're here to help you be the happy campers that we are.